At Marathon, the battlefield doesn't just host the fight, it closes around it.
The first sign of defeat is not blood. It's no room to move.
In a packed center, commands don't travel, they drown. This wasn't brute force. This was terrain, timing, and deception.
Athens makes its center look weaker on purpose.
The wings don't chase glory. They chase an angle.
Persia believes numbers and arrows will decide the day.
But how did this battlefield become a weapon?
The first clue appears before contact, on the ground itself.
Emotion, dread, context, outnumbered, action, lock in, and move.
Persia answers with distance, because distance is their advantage.
Athens refuses the long fight and chooses the short one.
Marathon's real walls are invisible. Marsh to one side, hills to the other.
He's not counting bodies. He's counting seconds. And when the signal comes, the wings will turn.
In that second, certainty collapses into a question. How do you build a trap on open ground? The answer begins in lamplight, where decisions become geometry.
Emotion, fear, context, thin center, action, tighten, lock, and step.
Master plan, or a chain of enemy mistakes.
If you want to understand how war shaped our world, stay with us.
If you want the next forgotten world, subscribe, and we'll uncover it together.
Big question. How did Miltiades turn terrain into a weapon?
Or was Marathon won by Persian assumptions? Stacked one on top of another?
The first clue is a decision that looks insane until you see the map.
The enemy isn't just an army. It's a fleet with options.
Stakes. If Athens falls, resistance across Greece may fracture. Constraint. Athens is outmatched in reach, and time feels borrowed. Persia's constraint is speed. Win, re-embark, and strike elsewhere.
Emotion, fear, context, outnumbered, action, build a plan that changes the odds.
The marsh is a boundary, quiet but absolute.
The hills are another boundary. Flanks can't unfold forever.
So why thin the center when pressure will hit it first?
Because the wings aren't built to survive. They're built to finish. Persia reads the center as weakness. Exactly the invitation Athens wants.
The plan depends on controlled weakness, bending without breaking.
Now one question remains. Will the enemy step where you want?
Emotion, doubt, context, thin center, action,
Retreat by inches, not panic.
The wings must be strong, and they must be patient. In a loud battlefield, even correct orders can arrive as confusion.
When cohesion holds, angles matter more than force.
And then the puzzle stops being theory. Contact makes it real.
Marathon isn't just a battle site. It's a decision point between fleet and city.
Stakes. One defeat could fracture Greek resistance before it becomes a coalition.
Emotion, pressure, context, time, action. Choose the fight before the fleet chooses it for you.
Persia's strength is mobility. Ships turn strategy into movement. Athens' constraint is endurance. Supplies are finite. Panic burns them faster. The marsh doesn't fight loudly. It just takes your feet away. Marathon offers a corridor, firm enough to run, narrow enough to control.
In lamplight, they reduce invasion to one question. Where can the enemy not unfold?
Emotion, responsibility, context, wings must win, action. Make the line behave like one body.
He thins the center because he wants Persia to push exactly there. For the center, the plan feels like standing on a cliff edge. Across the line, Persia rehearses the comfort of range. Morning arrives like a deadline. Decisions harden into marching.
Constraint! Cross the killing distance fast, without losing cohesion.
Persia shapes the choice by offering one obvious answer: advance into arrows.
So the commander makes a decision that looks insane until you see the map.
Emotion, urgency, context, fleet can move, action. Win now, then move. The wings are weighted like hammers. The center is spread like a net, meant to bend, not snap. And the enemy reads the center as weakness, exactly as intended. Fear, thin center. Hold long enough for the wings to arrive.
Emotion, certainty, context, range advantage, action. Punish the center before the wings matter. Now the plan leaves lamplight and enters daylight, where mistakes become irreversible. The shape is set, because the shape is the weapon. Beat A. Read the terrain. Find the invisible walls that turn open ground into a corridor. Emotion, caution. Context, marsh. Action, mark where feet can't go. A bottleneck doesn't need walls, just ground that refuses to cooperate.
Beat B. Shape the enemy's choice. Make your weakness look inviting. Emotion, confidence, context, range advantage, action. Press the center and finish fast. Emotion, fear, context, thin center, action. Stay locked, don't break the shape. The trap needs patience more than speed. Beat C, lock the trap. Place the pivot before contact hides the geometry. A trap is a timing window. Signals must travel faster than fear. When the enemy surges where you invited him, the lock begins to click. Controlled retreat is the hinge. Lose it, and the jaws never close.
Emotion, certainty, context, bending center, action, press harder.
Emotion, focus, context, pivot moment. Action, wait for the second that opens the jaw.
He waits until momentum outruns control.
Now it's one question. Will they step exactly where you want?
And then, contact turns planning into consequences.
Contact, the corridor slams shut, and every step becomes expensive.
Emotion, panic, context, thin center, action, brace and hold.
In the crush, even archery becomes useless.
Miltiades doesn't look for heroics. He looks for the moment the enemy commits.
On the wings, Athens fights the battle it chose. Short, heavy, and controlled.
The first cracks are organizational. Timing slips, spacing fails.
As you can see from the Q3 projections, our growth metrics are exceeding.
We have a security breach. Everyone evacuate now.
Disruption begins when retreat looks like collapse to the wrong eyes.
Decision under pressure. Press the apparent weakness, because it feels decisive. Momentum becomes a trap when it outruns coordination.
Visibility collapses, and with it, control.
The wing keeps a rhythm and the center can borrow.
Information advantage disappears when the battlefield turns into a crowd. Terrain becomes pressure. The marsh isn't a wall, but it feels like one.
When soldiers fear the ground, they stop fearing the enemy. And that's worse.
The hinge stops moving, and the trap is ready to swing.
Pivot. The wings turn, not to chase, but to close. The tactic is geometry. Change direction without losing cohesion.
Two doors swing shut at once.
That is the turning point. The center understands it's inside a shape.
The hinge becomes a lever. Bend, stop, then reverse.
Leadership here is tempo control. Move, then lock. The hinge becomes a lever. Bend, stop, then reverse. Disruption becomes paralysis when you can't see the real battlefield. The pocket doesn't kill with blades. It kills with physics. Collapse starts as a rumor. We're surrounded.
Athens doesn't pursue first, it contains.
Retreat becomes a race to the only exit. The ships.
Even victory can become a trap if the line breaks.
At the water's edge, the battlefield changes again into logistics.
Control the exit, and you control the outcome.
Sometimes the decisive struggle is a rope, not a blade.
In the noise, authority can't hold the pieces together.
Sources suggest leaders paid a price here, on the boundary between land and sea.
A retreat route that looks open becomes closed by fear of the terrain.
Discipline is the difference between victory and chaos.
The pocket opens only because the sea takes the survivors. Silence returns, not as peace, but as calculation. Because the victory isn't finished, if the fleet can still move. But the victory has a price, and the bill arrives fast.
Aftermath. The battle ends, but the threat does not. Emotion, urgency, context, fleet mobility, action, pivot from victory to prevention.
He doesn't celebrate the pocket. He recalculates the next landing.
Cost. Even a clean tactical win drains bodies, breath, and discipline.
The real inventory after battle is not trophies. It's who can still march. Resolve. A time window. Move before the enemy chooses a new target.
Most accounts suggest the fleet remains a threat, because ships can turn defeat into a second attempt.
Information is a weapon, only if it arrives in time.
Victory becomes logistics. Reorganize, move, and deny the enemy a second map.
Emotion, exhaustion, context, distance, action. Keep pace anyway.
Cost, paid in silence. The same men who fought must now outrun the sea.
In the city, the battle is felt as waiting. Seed of next disaster. The enemy learns Athens can win, so next time it returns bigger.
Defense isn't only what you do on the field, it's what you deny afterward. Turning point. Extended. The city prepares, as if the battle is still here.
Sources differ on details, but the strategic pressure is clear. The fleet remains a moving threat.
Emotion, restraint. Context, fragile win. Action, keep the system intact.
Cost, specific. Tradition remembers Callimachus among the losses. Leadership paid in more than effort.
Seed, specific. Success invites escalation, because the enemy adapts.
But what if this victory planted the seed of the next disaster?
Your fingerprint. Marathon is the battle where wings close the map.
The battlefield was a weapon because it forced choices into a narrow lane. Lesson 1. Cohesion turns a crowd into a tool.
Lesson 2. Controlled weakness can bait a stronger force into overcommitment. Lesson 3. Tempo is leadership, especially when visibility fails.
Lesson 4. When space collapses, information and command collapse with it.
Lesson 5. Exits are strategic. Control them, and the battle's outcome can't reverse. Why now? Modern decisions still live on time windows, incomplete signals and terrain, physical or organizational. But parallels are not instructions. They're reminders about pressure, perception, and systems. Marathon's story is a decision chain. Bait the center, hold the hinge, close the wings, deny the exit. Modern similarity. Resilience is built before the crisis, through routines that don't look heroic.
Modern similarity. Intelligence is often just disciplined observation, done longer than others can endure.
Modern similarity. Logistics is tempo, who can move, sustain, and reform under stress. Modern similarity. Communication fails when it's late, so systems must assume delay. Tactical takeaway, safely stated. Shift strength to where it decides outcomes, not where it merely absorbs pressure. Disclaimer: every era, place, and conflict is different. What carries over is not tactics, but the logic of pressure and choice.
And the enemy doesn't forget a lesson like this. It adapts. The seed is planted. Escalation is coming. Marathon saved a city, yet it also warned the world what would be required to keep it. But what happens when Persia returns? Not with one landing, but an empire?
If you want the next forgotten world, subscribe, and we'll uncover it together.